We played a really good defensive team in Tennessee. We talked about the last time I was here that they were ranked #1 in the country in field goal percentage defense, three-point field goal percentage defense. They're big, they're long, they play physical, and we had trouble scoring the ball. To be honest, we tried to get the ball to JB as much as we could and ran different sets to get him the ball, but they took most of that away. Fell behind at the end of the first half, gave them a little run, and then we turned around and regrouped at halftime. The guys came out and really played in the second half, and we made some three-point shots, something we didn't do in the first half. And Jalen Dalcourt hit a couple of big ones, and of course Kobe got hot. Took over the game for about a 2-minute period, and we've seen him do that in practice many times, and know he's certainly capable about doing that. We rebounded the ball well. I think we out free throwed and made more free throws, had less turnovers. We were about one basket away from making it really interesting, and we weren't able to get it there. But Tennessee was definitely feeling uncomfortable, and they were the better team that night, and they beat us. And you guys know the bracket and the way it's gone through there. So I'm really excited about the teams that are going to be in Houston this week and supporting them. I'm good friends with 3 of the 4 coaches. So looking forward to watching a great tournament that is obviously wide open. It shows the parity in our game with different things that have happened the last couple of years, which makes all teams get hot, get on a run, have a chance to advance. And this tournament's been really different because 1979, I think, was the last time that you haven't had a top 3 seed in the Final Four. So a lot of history there. Recapping our season real quick, we had another great year. We won 26 ball games, which I believe second most in school history. 5 years ago, we won the most. So in the last 5 years, we've had a conference championship and a conference tournament championship. We won all kind of honors this year individually. Jordan Brown, first team All-League, MVP of the tournament, or most outstanding player of the tournament, All-District. Greg Williams was All-Conference. Greg made All-District also. And we were really unfortunate in the tournament that Greg couldn't go at full speed. I mean, he doesn't score the last 2 games, and he's such a vital part of our team, and I know it hurt him. We didn't practice him till we got to Orlando, and he practiced the 2 days before we played, but he just wasn't quite the same. And but he had a great year. Other guys stepped up and did a super job too. We've talked about all the things we've done before. Undefeated in November, earliest championship ever at the Asheville Championship in school history. Undefeated, most wins at home in January. Go undefeated at the Cajun Dome, first time in the history of the Dome and first time in 50 years that our school's done that. It's quite an accomplishment. I think there are only 10 teams that belong to a conference that went undefeated at home. So out of 358 teams, or ever how many there are today, it's pretty impressive. Won 10 games in a row, won 20 games, second fastest that we have ever done, and that was the 17-18 team that won 27 games, but they won their 20th game on February 3rd, and actually it was the same day. It was a Saturday, but it was February 4th this time when we beat Marshall. Won 10 games in a row like that group did for the 3rd time in conference play over the years. Had the 4-game conference road streak that you talked about, consecutive, that we'd never done in any conference, and that got us off to a good start and allowed us to win the 10 in a row. Really proud of this team. Went to the NCAA tournament. They gave us a lot of thrills. We still have more honors coming in. Jordan Brown's going to receive some more honors this week, hopefully. And we're excited about the recruiting aspect. We're working hard trying to come up with a couple of guys and feel like we've got a really good nucleus back, and still up in the air on a couple of guys, but we'll figure it out and move forward.
Coach, obviously, you mentioned about recruiting last week. Themis Folks enters his name into the transfer portal, and then he turns around a couple days later and tweets out running back, which we can assume that he's saying that he's coming back to play for you guys. Just what did that, I guess, conversation kind of go like to get him to want to run it back? And, how do you feel like that will help in the domino effect of other guys making decisions to return as well?
Well, certainly don't worry myself about the portal because there's nothing you can do. We control things we can control. And I'll share a little bit of the conversation. Themis reached out to me on Saturday night after we got back on Friday, wanted to meet with me Monday morning, and I told him I was out of town. I couldn't get back until Wednesday night, so he wanted to meet Thursday morning. And then Monday morning, he reaches out and tells me that he's going to put his name in the portal. And so he met with our compliance director, and they discussed it, and then 45 minutes later, he did that. We said we would meet when we got back. He met with me. We talked. I gave him the honest information that I have witnessed over time with my experience, and he said he wanted to return. So, it's still day to day. You don't know what's going to happen in today's portal situation.
But do you feel like you have, I guess there's somewhat of a guessing game because you have to know what holes to replace as far as decisions that him and other kids could or could not be making.
Right, and the portal ends earlier now, but if you remember, Cedric went the last day of June, which really kind of caught us behind. We thought we were prepared, but we do think ahead. We have individual player meetings set up this week where we'll sit down and meet exit interview type with every player from a basketball standpoint and a school standpoint and hear from them and see what they say. A couple of guys may want to leave, I'm not sure. Nothing surprises me today.
You mentioned the list of accomplishments that the Cajuns were able to get this year. What is the one that you feel most proud that the team reached?
What's got to be the NCAA tournament, winning the Sun Belt tournament, being picked high early to win the league and starting 0-2 and creating doubt with some people, which we never doubted from within, and we were able to hang on and do that, and it was difficult. The league was really good this year, and it was quite a challenge to win the tournament, but we certainly were glad we were able to do that. So I think that one's the main one because it gets you to the NCAA tournament, and we were disappointed. We felt like we were going to be the first team in 31 years to win a game in the tournament in advance. And, there's no doubt in my mind if we got by Tennessee, we could have gotten by the next team and played FAU in Madison Square Garden.
To follow up on that, seeing how wide open this tournament has been this year, does that give you a little hope, a little more optimism looking forward to next year?
Yes, always. The mid-major programs are doing well. Certainly proud of the success. I know a lot of the coaches that were in the tournament and really happy for them. And it's a different game today, and things can change quickly. That's drastic of a change, as we talked about earlier, since 1979. That's unprecedented for sure, and I don't think it'll be this way every year. But I read something last night. It said last year's Final Four teams were North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, and Villanova, and then look who they are this year. None of the blue bloods are in there necessarily unless you want to put UConn in that category. But you got one Power 5 school that's going to be in Houston this week.
You mentioned the Sun Belt being better. And with what's happened in the tournament, this year, 24 of the 32 at large went to those Power 5 conferences. Do you see that possibly changing with what's happened this year, or is that still, the power protects power?
Well, it started back with VCU, Butler, Wichita State. Teams have been in the Final Four. George Mason, right, in 06 with Coach L. So it's not going to change a lot, in my opinion. It may help a little bit, but the rich get richer most of the time. And I basically have a hard time with a team like Arkansas. I'll just call them out. They got a losing record in their league, and I don't think teams of that status should be allowed in the tournament, and that would create another spot.
What do you think, how would you kind of assess the Jordan Brown situation? He's graduated, I mean, he's coming off a great year. I'm sure he's going to explore all his options. Like, how would you kind of classify it?
Yeah, same as last year. He'll put his name in the draft. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to go have a meeting with Tom Burke and Gabby in compliance with Jordan. He's waiting on me right now. And we're going to go over some things and make sure the deadlines are met that he has to fulfill. And we're going to wait and see. He had an opportunity to go to Portsmouth and declined that opportunity. So we certainly support him. Hope that he's able to get in camp or the draft camp and make a team. But if not, the option still is there to return to school.
And with that in mind, I guess, what would it do for the confidence and the holistic part of this team if Jordan were to make the decision to come back?
Well, he's a special player. He's made a big impact on our program. And I couldn't be more proud of the young man, the leadership he's given this year and the maturity, professionalism. I mean, he leads through the way he works every day. And he doesn't take many days off. So really proud of him. And we'll see what happens. Certainly guards want to play with him that we've talked to. And if he's not here, we've got to have a big go replace him. But we've done this many times before. And we'll continue to look for a
Is it pretty clear what the
replacement.
timetable of that is?
Not yet, but if you remember last year, Kevin, I think it went into probably the third week of May, and I would think it would be the same thing. I would think around June 1st. The NBA draft camp Chicago is at the end of May, and so we'll know more as we get into it.